In business, there's no room for guesswork. Every shipment matters. Every deadline counts. When you're trying to keep operations running smoothly, the last thing you need is uncertainty. That's why reliability is at the core of USPS Ground Advantage. From the moment your package is first scanned in, it moves through a secure nationwide network, aiding in a timely and accurate delivery. You get near real-time tracking so you can keep up with your shipments. And with affordable upfront pricing, there are no hidden fees or surprise surcharges to throw off your cost sheets. It all adds up to predictable deliveries you can depend on. Because knowing your logistics are handled lets you focus on everything else: your customers, your team, and the future you're building. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to start shipping with confidence. USPS, official shipping sponsor of the NHL.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Always follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
It's good to have you on board here on a Monday afternoon live in Vegas. Thanks for watching on YouTube TV, listening on Sirius XM channel 158, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, or any of our great affiliates across the country. In this hour, in 15 minutes, we'll get to today's Major League Baseball card. I will remind you of what happened the last time Ohtani faced today's starting pitcher going for Colorado. Maybe the best game in the history of the sport, and I'm not exaggerating. That's coming up in 15. RJ Choppy from 105.3 The Fan in Dallas. The Cowboys draft coming up on Thursday. NHL card and some more NBA. So all of these game twos that we have tonight, Pauly. Let's begin in New York with the Knicks hosting the Hawks. This was 5.5. Back now it's 6.5. Total 217.5 or 218. And here at Circa, I'm looking at 6 as well. That was a 19-point lead for the Knicks before Atlanta went on that 11-0 run to make it look close, and the Knicks still covered. All 5 guys scored in double digits. You ran this down in the first hour. Brunson came out of the gates like he was going to score 60 in that game.
Yeah.
And then it dialed down after the first quarter.
Yep.
But I would expect Brunson to put it together for basically a full game tonight. And as we saw yet again, the Atlanta Hawks have no answer for Karl Anthony Towns.
Absolutely.
So I think at least both those guys scoring are going to probably combine for, I don't know, pushing 60 points in this game.
Yep. OG was great as well.
Yeah.
And, a prop to look at, too, is McBride to at least knock down 1 or 2 threes coming off the bench. And he did that and went over his prop in game 1. The other thing is, I mentioned Daniels didn't play well, only had 5 points, but his rebounds and assists bumped up to 12.5. But he's gone over that in every meeting against the Knicks, and he did it in game 1. He led everyone in assists, so I think that's too low. But Okongwu was at shoot-around. He was listed as questionable. They need him, and they just got nothing out of their bench in game 1. But I do think they can keep this one close because even though they lost by 11, they're going to score more than 102 points. And Alexander Walker, I don't think will shoot like that again, as he struggled and he was 6 for 17. And it just feels like it's too much love now with the Knicks. And they were great defensively. But I just think they're going to make it interesting. And I'm not going to say they're going to lose, but I think this game could be close and come down to the wire.
You're going to change your opinion? Because you expected a long series overall.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
What if the Knicks are awesome tonight and they win by, 15? And it's easy for them. Do you think that it's going to...
If Cat gives them issues again?
Yeah.
But yeah.
So...
I also think it was inexperience and, when you got a young team out there too. Sometimes the lights are too bright and you're not ready to go. And that happened with Detroit, and that happens sometimes in both sports, NBA and NHL.
How high do you want to go with the McBride threes? Because I have all the numbers in front of me right now. Basically, it's posted at 1.5, and the over is minus 120 or a little bit shorter than that.
Well, he did take 4.
You'd want him to take about 6.
Yeah. Do you want to come back Hart rebounds?
That's the guy.
Got to do it. Okay.
Yep.
14 rebounds in game 1. The leader, 10-1. Excellent performance, and he's been great for the Knicks. But you're also right, though. It's just like as good as he was in the first quarter. Brunson made 1 shot the rest of the game.
That's it.
There's no way that happens again.
No, I would fully expect him to probably play really well for a majority of the game, if not the entire thing. And there's something about Josh Hart come playoff basketball where he really ramps up his game. Again, you're going to be playing more minutes typically, but just I love the way the guy plays. And if you run down the numbers from the postseason over the last couple of years, against Detroit, he had 3 double-digit rebound games, averaged almost 9 per game. Against Boston last year, averaged more than 8 rebounds per game. Against the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals, averaged more than 9. had double digits 4 out of the 6 games. Go back to 2024. He averaged more than 12 rebounds per game against Philadelphia. He averaged 11 against the Pacers. And in those 13 games in 2024, 8 of those, he had double figures. So I played over 7.5 this morning at minus 106 and put it on the picks page at vsin.com. I'm super mad at myself for not seeing he was 30-1 to lead. He was 10-1 for the game, you said.
Mm-hmm.
Which...
Up at Caesars, yeah.
Damn.
Great job.
Okay.
Yep. I think more of the same, though, in the first game. It's a tough matchup for Toronto. Again, as we talked about, Toronto was 24th in rebounding. Allen and Mobley are going to eat in this series. They were great in game 1. Mitchell's going to get whatever he wants offensively. You got that big boost and shot in the arm from Strus, but they also mixed things up defensively. I know they were 18th in defense since the Harden trade, but they shadowed Ingram for the whole game, and he was frustrated. He took 9 shots. 9. You got problems when Shed takes more. And we get plenty of emails, and a lot of people are point out that Barnes is overrated. I'm not going to go that far. I think he's a solid player, but they were outscored by 22 points when he was on the floor. Mm-hmm. But this is Darko says they're going to have a better game plan and get him more involved, but I don't know what to do with his props. Where it's just, we have to focus more on getting Ingram shots. But if they're going to try to take him away, and that's the game plan, and it's really tough without Quickly, too. And he didn't play in game 1, and he's he's questionable tonight again.
Right. Well, you have to have a counter to the counter, right?
Uh-huh.
So in order to get Ingram more shots than that, and here you mentioned him, here is the Toronto's head coach talking about getting Brandon Ingram more looks tonight.
They were really focused, their schemes, what they were doing against Brendan, how they were guarding him, but also in regards how they were guarding our bigs. I think that we got to do a good job of balancing out to find Brendan more, to get some better screens for him, to free him up. And I think sometimes when he's overplayed, when he's not being able to catch the ball, which happened on 2 or 3 situations, him setting some screens, freeing up his teammates is good for us. So we gotta definitely do a better job and find Brendan more, and he needs to be more engaged. And we have a couple of solutions for that. How we're gonna fight that.
Well, I think it's actually the perfect time to play Ingram over because it's not super high. It's 21.5. He did not have a good game 1, like you said, and his coach comes out and says that. I mean, the writing's kind of going to be on the wall if we don't bet that, and he has 27 in the game tonight.
Yeah, let me look at Jakob Poeltl. What is he for points? He gave him nothing in game 1, and most people think he's playing with 9? No way. And he's playing with an injury. Allen and Mobley and Allen are going to do a number on him. I can't see him scoring 10 points. Your comeback is, hey, they were 50% from 3, and Strus scored 24.
Yeah, no kidding.
I just think they're going to be too good offensively in this series and get what they want. And the other thing is, hurry up, win this in 4, win this in 5, because it looks like not number 1. Maybe Orlando beats Detroit, or it goes a distance. So let them play a 6-7 game war. And if you're looking at this, you got to be loving life. You got a path to the conference finals if you're Cleveland, the way you're looking at things right now.
I saw a good breakdown today on X from our buddy Joe Osborne about a player prop in this game. He's riding Donovan Mitchell over 27.5.
Yep.
Had 32 in game 1, only played 31 minutes. He scored 28 plus in 13 of his last 16 postseason games. Again, so
he delivers.
It took him 31 minutes to score that many.
Yeah, that's not bad.
So if he plays 31 minutes again tonight, okay, he did it once. He can probably do it again. What if the Raptors are actually a little bit more competitive here in game 2 and he plays more minutes? Then you have to like your chances even more for him to go over.
Yep.
And I'll give you this with the Wolves and the Nuggets tonight. Joker, the triple-double, best price I saw today was minus 120. In 40 minutes, he had 25, 13, and 11. I'm not going to include the final day of the regular season. He played 18 minutes in that game against the Spurs. But he had 3 triple-doubles in his last 4 games in April and 10 out of 16 games in March, and his other games against Minnesota this year. 35, 13, and 9, so 1 assist short. That overtime game, he had 56, 16, and 15. Then he had 27, 12, and 11, and 25, 19, and 10. I think the Wolves are going to keep this one tight again tonight. The total's gone up to 232 now from about 230 or 230 and a half. If he played 40 minutes in game 1 and pushes that number again tonight, I mean, I know I wanted even money, but it's minus 120 Best number I could find for a triple-double. It's kind of surprising if he doesn't have one, Pauly.
Finch talked about the officiating after the game, that Murray shot 16 free throws and the Wolves as a team shot a little more than 19. He had a problem with that. But also Denver was 1 of 17 from 3 in the second half and still won by 11.
Right.
And a horrible first quarter. And Gordon was in foul trouble. And Ant's hurt.
And somehow that game was tied at halftime.
I know. And Ant's going to play, but he was 7 of 19. So they've won 13 in a row. They've been bad going back in game 2s for whatever reason. I think they win, but I think they cover too. But I think the total's too high. Again, we only had one game that's gone over so far.
And it's gone up. Market is betting it over in this game. I briefly talked to our buddy Chad Andrews from 104.3 The Fan in Denver today. And he just simply said he's betting Julius Randle points props tonight. And he said that he expects a big game out of him. He laddered him to 20 plus and 25 plus in the game.
Okay. I also like how Cam Johnson's playing. And if that guy's knocking down shots, good luck. Because he had 12 points. He was 6 of 12 shooting. Brown was pretty good. And if Hardaway can get it going coming off the bench, I mean, you're talking that's 7 guys that can score. Well, seven guys that can kill you.
Yeah, I really think that if they are as close to being as healthy as they possibly can be, if they get by the Timberwolves and the Spurs get by the Blazers, Cam Johnson plays like this, I don't think the Spurs are beating them. I think Denver wins that series when we get Denver OKC to go to the NBA Finals.
All right.
And that would stink because I got the Spurs on a nice ticket at 18-1 to win the West.
They will regret what happened on the final day of the regular season.
Yep.
All right, we're taking over the world's largest sports book here at Circa, and you're invited. Join us June 13th from 1 to 5. Sweat bets, NBA Finals, World Cup. Hang with us, follow the money. $250 gets you open bar, all you can eat. Don't miss out. Sign up, vsin.com/beyondthebooth. vsin.com/beyondthebooth. All you can eat, all you can drink. NBA Finals, World Cup, baseball. Hang out at Circa, have a great time. vsin.com/beyondthebooth.
Go check that bad boy out today. Up next, we're going to dive into today's Major League Baseball card. Ohtani has now reached base in 51 straight games. He also, arguably, had the best game in baseball history last season when facing today's opposing pitcher. I will remind you of those unbelievable numbers next here on VSiN.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, so we get the rubber match here. 4th game of the series in Colorado tonight at Coors in Major League Baseball. Dodgers have lost 2 straight, and as you pointed out, in win-lose, Colorado is plus 260 in both of them. We're going to get Rob Linsky against Quintana today. Colorado can win their first series against the Dodgers since 2022, and with a win, they will reach double-digit victories on the year. That happened on June 2nd of last year when they were 10 and 50.
That's awesome. Come on.
Yep. So Ohtani in his career against Quintana. 3 for 7, 3 home runs. Pages, by the way, 4 for 11 with 2 doubles. Ohtani has reached base in 34 straight games against Colorado dating back to July 2021. Slash line is bonkers, batting .391 overall with 13 home runs, 35 RBIs. This is the game I was talking about before the break. It was the final game of the NLCS last year. Dodgers-Brewers. Dodgers swept them. Ohtani pitched. He hit 3 home runs in that game off 3 different pitchers. Quintana was the starter. He got yanked. But Ohtani hit 2 more after that one off him. Ohtani was 3 for 3 with 3 home runs. He pitched 6 innings of 2-hit scoreless baseball and struck out 10.
Yep.
Probably the best game in the history of the sport.
Yep. That's the comeback, though, with the Pages and Ohtani props. How long is Quintana in there? You know, they rake against these guys, but maybe you only get a couple at-bats against them.
How about this?
But it's still strong based on how well they've done, how good of players they are in the sick run that Paul has been on all year.
Sure.
Too.
Now, I will flip it here for 1 second and tell you that Quintana, in 15 career regular season games against the Dodgers, how is this possible? A 2.32 ERA, 73-plus innings, 19 earned runs. That's 12 starts, 15 appearances. It's his second best ERA against a single opponent in all of Major League Baseball, of all teams. This would be a great story if the Rockies could take 3 out of 4 from them.
Yes, it would. There's a lot of numbers here worth pointing out. Garcia hitting .455 against Elder. Marsh hitting .660 against Rea.
Mm-hmm.
Realmuto hitting .500 against him. That's 16 at-bats, by the way. Was a couple here.
How about?
And oh boy, that was something Friday night. Woo! Horowitz, lifetime 7 for 7 against Nick Martinez. He went 3 for 3 against him. So he's 10 for 10 lifetime against Nick Martinez.
Yeah, First
at bat with a double.
What do you think that's about?
I don't know.
Just absolutely
I've never
dialed
seen
in,
that before.
sees the pitch better than it's like a beach ball truly coming in at that time.
I know. 10 for 10 lifetime against the guy.
Pretty good.
Nuts.
You had 2 total bases?
Yes, plus money. Led off with a double, and then had a single, and then he closed with a walk, although Martinez wasn't in there with the walk.
Mm-hmm.
But that stuff like that's great to point out. I'm glad they do that, and it's a great job with the putting a packet together that they do every single day. It's phenomenal. How about the Astros now? Can they be now? They're only 1 win on the road, and they've lost 12 of 14. Their starters have an ERA of almost 8. They have an ERA of 6.34, worst in the majors.
Mm-hmm.
In the last 14 games, the only victory by a starter is Arrighetti, and he has good numbers. And Cleveland, even though they're having a pretty good season, they've lost every game Ciccone started. So here it is. Like, why are they? I thought they were favored at one book or the send-out, but why was Houston like $1.15, even though they're so bad and only have 1 road win?
Well, okay,
but
so
it's hard going to war with a guy who doesn't. They've lost every single start he's made this year.
Maybe this is a live betting opportunity tonight on Houston, because it's really kooky how Slade Ciccone, he's been really good the first couple of times through the lineup. It's the 3rd time through that has snuck up on him. So 8 of his 11 runs that he has allowed this year have scored after the first 2 times through the lineup. Very small sample size, but on the year, 72 plate appearances the first 2 times through the order, opponent batting average of 164, an OPS of 472 and no home runs. The 3rd time through the lineup for Ciccone. Only 16 plate appearances, so again, not going to go hog wild on this, but opponents have batted 500 the 3rd time through with 3 home runs and an OPS of 1777. And you can, if he gets through the first 2 times and he's dealing, you can find ways to bet that. Either you can maybe bet the Astros to win. It depends on what the score is, obviously. You can bet them to score in that inning, that like the first inning that he's going to pitch the 3rd time through. You can find books that will offer that in advance. So there are several ways to maybe keep an eye on that tonight when he's going, if you want to approach it in that manner.
Alvarez props again, right?
People are betting him, who I know, again, to hit a home run, but why would you not? The guy's been so hot.
3 in a row.
Yeah. Leading right now with 10 overall. So you pointed out the good numbers with a lot of the guys going on tonight, and some of those were in that Phillies-Cubs game. Keep in mind, Phillies lost last night, Sunday Night Baseball. They're now in a new city. This is very random. Bryce Harper in his career against Colin Ray, 0 for 14, but only 1 strikeout. So he's putting the balls in play, but he hasn't got a hit yet. When I first saw 0 for 14, I'm like, well, maybe he struck out like 10 times, and Ray just dominates him, the exact opposite. So maybe it's time to actually bet on Harper, to have him get some balls to drop in his matchup against Ray. Bohm and Stott are a combined 2 for 25 against Ray in their lifetime. Okay. And Bregman, Happ, Suzuki, 5 for 47 combined against Nola. The Cubs took 2 out of 3 against Philadelphia last week. In those 2 wins, they outscored them 23-6. And Philadelphia's run differential is -38, which is the worst in all of Major League Baseball. And a good note here as well on the Cubs. After the tough start to the season on offense, their first 10 games, 41 They had a 4-6 record overall with 10 home runs, and they batted 199. Their last 11 games, they've scored 71 runs with a batting average of 292 and 14 home runs. They're 8-3 with a record in that span. So they have turned it around here offensively. And I really don't trust Aaron Nola. And the Braves are also red hot with this now five-game lead in the NL East.
Number 1 in run differential.
Now, they've only allowed 11 runs in this winning streak. The Nats have the second worst ERA in all of baseball, 5.65. Lefties are 8 for 53 against Elder on the year. Only 2 for 22 with 8 strikeouts against his slider. And Michael Harris is a guy that I'm betting tonight. Good numbers against Irvin, 7 of 18 overall, 2 doubles. And he's starting to heat up at the plate overall. 10 for 22 in his last 7 games with 3 home runs, 5 straight at-bats with a hit. I played 2+ total bases at plus 151 today with Michael Harris. Drake Baldwin, the catcher for the Braves, also was awesome against the Nationals last year. In 11 games, he batted .395 with 7 extra base hits and 12 RBIs. This is the worst record through 21 games for the Phillies since 2015. They're 8-13 now on the year. That year, 2015, they lost 99 games on the season. Swept by the Braves, digging a hole already, much like the New York Mets.
Yep.
Ugly.
So Elder, those are great numbers behind only Ohtani and Soriano. How about Soriano doing it again? Yeah. And he goes Wednesday for a day game.
I got to check who they play.
5-0 with a 0.28. This is make-believe. Wow. Between him and Mason Miller, I can't believe what I'm watching every time they're out there.
They get to he gets the Blue Jays.
Blue Jays at home?
Yep.
Maybe Shadows, day game?
Let's hope.
That, yeah. You know, and like we said, Miller is appointment television. When he's allowed 2 hits the whole season.
That's it. He comes in both games to close them out, and the Padres just won't lose.
Uh-huh.
So they have 14 wins in the month of April, 2 up on my Braves.
Padres up on Atlanta.
Padres have 14 wins this month. Atlanta has 12.
Oh, good.
But Miller comes in, it's like, okay, well, they have no chance. You can bet, by the way, will the team score a run in that inning? And it's like, this is going to be Jacob deGrom territory when he was really dealing a couple years ago.
You got to put up, will he give up a hit?
Yeah.
He's allowed 2 hits.
You have to lay, I think, $7 will a team score against him.
He made 2 appearances over the weekend. He struck out 5 of the 6 guys.
Yeah, the game's over.
Yeah. We'll do that more on that later. Like 15-1 now, Cy Young. The Sharps Invitational, a season-long NFL bankroll tournament. Think poker meets football. Start with 10,000 chips. Put them to work on spreads, totals, parlays, and even props. NFL Week 1 through the Super Bowl. Stack your chips, climb the leaderboard, compete for real money. 3 tiers, 3 champions, 3 prize pools worth playing for. Sign up today at jointhesharps.com. Jointhesharps.com. Excellent. Compete all season or week to week. Get up there.
I'll point out one other thing today in Major League Baseball. Lugo is going for the Royals against Baltimore. The O's now are ice cold. They've lost 3 out of 4 and 5 out of 6. Baltimore struck out 35% of their plate appearances against the Guardians. Yeah. Only Colorado has a higher K rate on the year. However, KC, they've lost 7 straight and 10 out of 12. Their bullpen ERA is at 6.18, the worst in the entire sport. Plus, they're dead last in runs scored. Yep. This is 9 tonight. Lugo's been one of the bright spots for this team.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't strike out a ton, but in Baltimore, swinging and missing at everything here in recent games.
Rogers been shaky, too.
Got crushed.
Yeah, he did.
Yep. We'll talk to RJ Choppy, 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, coming up next. A lot of talk about the Cowboys trading up. How high are they willing to move? And which specific player are they targeting?
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We'll talk some NFL draft here, specifically what the Cowboys are going to do. 2 picks in the first round and a lot of rumors swirling that they could trade up to number 6 potentially. We've seen as high as number 3. How much stock does our next guest put into any of that? RJ Choppy joins the program now, 105.3 The Fan in Dallas. And you can follow him on X at RJ Choppy. He's on the Progressive Guest Line. What's up, RJ? How are you today?
How we doing today, guys?
Did you spend any time at all talking Game 2 Stars Wild today, or once draft week is here, living in Dallas, it's nothing but Cowboys?
Oh no, we talked about Game 1. We rehashed it and going into Game 2 and what they've got to do tonight. And it's I wouldn't say there's a lot of panic here because the Stars have lost Game 1 quite a bit in their playoff run, and they've gone to several conference finals in a row. But it never gets any easier when you put up a performance like that they did on Saturday night, where you can't blame the goalie. I mean, a lot of people wanted to blame Ottinger, but they could have had prime Dominic Hasek and Marty Brodeur in net, and they're still probably losing 2-1. That's how bad they skated on Saturday.
Yeah, we'll get maybe a pick from you before the segment's over here on Game 2 coming up tonight. So, again, a lot of rumors here with what the Cowboys are going to do. What would you put it at right now, like in a prediction market? Are they going to trade up? Is it higher than 50-50 that 12 could turn into number 6 or number 3 potentially on Thursday?
3 would be a lot. That'd be a stretch. I mean, they would have to give up both of their first round picks, I think, to move to 3, and then maybe, kick something else back. But, 6 could be a possibility. If the Giants at 5 don't take a defensive player that the Cowboys really covet, right? Like the Giants at 5 don't take Downs or Styles. I think you could see the Cowboys maybe seeing that and saying, all right, we might be able to hold and still get a player we like. But there's a lot of chatter that that we could see them moving up. I think right now I'd put it at about 50-50 that they maybe more than 50-50 that they move up. It'd be 55-45 they go up, which, whether or not you like that or not, Jerry does like to be in the news. Mm-hmm. And that certainly puts them as the talk of, or one of the talks of the draft. We've talked about moving up to number 9 with Kansas City and trading 12 and 20 for 9 and 29. We've talked about going up to 6 with Cleveland and trading 12 and 20 for 6 and 39. Those are all options on the table, but a lot of it, matters on what kind of dominoes fall in the picks before them. Like, what does Arizona do? Do they go offense? Does Tennessee go offense? Well, that's going to kick some defensive players down the board a little bit, because that's ideally what they want.
Was it you, or was it just the consensus on the show that you guys did not like the Lawrence trade?
Well, from Cincinnati's perspective, we didn't love the Lawrence trade. It's like that's a lot. It's a high pick to give up.
Yeah.
And one of the guys on our show, Bobby talked about how if you go back in history, non-quarterback draft picks to be traded for a top 10 player. I mean, you're looking at Randy Moss in his prime to the Raiders at number 7. You'll usually get players traded for first round picks before they know what the pick is a lot of times. Not in the top 10. When the Cowboys traded for Quinnen Williams, the Jets have no idea where that pick is going to be next year. Could be 29, could be 3. We don't, they don't know. Mm-hmm. So that was surprising to us.
Yeah.
Okay, so if they do trade up, and let's pretend it's 6 like the ceiling they're going to go to, what specific player are they looking at then at number 6?
If they go to 6, they're looking for Downs or Styles. Or one of the Bailey or Reese has fallen. And whether or not that happens, look, guys fall for all kinds of different reasons at the draft. Somebody catches wind of some off-field issue that happened 5 years ago, and just teams panic, and it happens, right? We've seen it happen. If David Bailey, for example, were to fall to 5 or 6, I can absolutely see the Cowboys moving up to get him. They love him. There's not a whole lot I like, right? But ideally, outside of something crazy happening, they're looking to go get Styles or Downs.
Okay, and then what happens if they don't like what they have to give up to move to 6, or whatever that number might be, even like number 9, like you talked about to KC? Maybe they say, 12 and 20 is a bit steep. We're not going to do it. If they stay at 12, then which player or players would you bet on that team taking there?
Well, okay, I assume Delane's gone.
Yep.
I assume Styles is gone. I assume Downs is gone. This is kind of a panic situation. I've seen some people say, okay, well, you could just take Dylan Thieneman, the safety out of Oregon. I've seen people say Bain or Keldrick Falk. I think that if all the defensive players are gone, there is a scenario where they take a receiver and rescind the Pickens tag or trade George
or trade. All right.
All right. I think Bobby on our show is a Cowboys insider, and he has talked about that is something that, if that happens, it wouldn't throw shockwaves into us, because they're set up for what I believe is a long fight on George Pickens' number. And they haven't. I mean, look, he's still here, so it means they haven't gotten any offers on 2 first-round picks for him, which would be the tag number, right? So we don't know what the compensation would be for him. We do know that he's going to want a lot of money, and I don't know if the Cowboys could pay $35 million to CeeDee Lamb and $60 million to Dak Prescott, and then $35 to $40 million for George Pickens and field a good team.
Right.
So I don't know. That's just a little something else. I think it's a rarity. I think it's a long shot, but just keep that in the back of your heads.
What'd you think of the Aubrey contract?
Well, it's tough, man. You're paying $7 million for a kicker. I understand. I understand how guys don't love that. I also understand why you do it. I mean, he is a safety net. He is a cheat code. I mean, you're basically 10 yards from field goal range on every kickoff. Not really, but not really, but you're close, right?
Yeah.
So you've got to pick up 1 first down, and you can kind of see field goal range from there with him. So it's a cheat code. I'll tell you this. I do think that Brian Schottenheimer got caught a couple of times this year using him as a crutch. You're in plus territory. It's 4th and 2. And you're like, well, I've got a guaranteed 3 points here. Okay, that's true, but you're going to wind up losing some games because you're going to leave some points on the board. And I do think that's a crutch for him. And I do hope they fix that, because you don't want that moving forward. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I would rather have a highly paid kicker than a bad kicker. There's nothing worse than a bad kicker. And, if you're an NFL fan and you don't watch college football, you don't know what I'm talking about. Because if you're a fan of college football and you're a fan of a team that's got a bad kicker, and I am, look at this mug right here. Okay, bad kicker last year, cost the Georgia game, Oklahoma game. It's frustrating. I'd much rather have a highly paid kicker than a bad one.
I did not have a problem with the team giving him that much money. I really didn't. He's like one of the best weapons in the league. To me, no hyperbole there. By the way, what's the longest field goal you've heard of him making, like in practice? Can he make it from like 75?
I think we've heard of a 72. Yeah, it's tough because we don't get to see practice, and also in training camp, they're outdoors. They're in Oxnard. It's windy.
Yeah.
we see some 35-yarders that are adventurous out there.
Mm-hmm. All right, so game 2 tonight. Are you confident enough in a bounce back here from the home team, the Dallas Stars, to actually win it?
Well, Minnesota's really good. The way they skated the other night, it is they skated so much better than the Stars did. I do think that Minnesota right now, you clearly have to say they're the favorites of the series, and I think Vegas has reflected that. I'd be really stunned, though, if the Stars don't come away with a win tonight. This is back against the wall. You are not going to go up to Minnesota down 2-0. I'd be pretty confident that the Stars find a way to bounce back. They've got to get better play from Mikko. Mikko didn't have a great game in game 1. Of course, Otter didn't have his best game. He gave up some goals that he probably shouldn't have given up, but also there were some redirects that, may not happen in every other game. And Minnesota's goaltending situation, we were kind of surprised they had the guy they had in there. We thought maybe Gustafsson may have gotten in there, but I think the Stars take it tonight. But I think Minnesota right now is in the clear. They're much more apt to win this series right now than I thought they were going to be going in.
Yeah, very strong. You can follow him on X at RJ Choppy. Listen to him at 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas every day, Monday through Friday. RJ, that was great. Thanks for the time. We appreciate that.
Anytime, guys. Thank you.
Join us here on the Progressive Guest Line.
I'm with them. I think they bounce back and even the series.
Okay.
They were embarrassed, no doubt. But that's what they do. They've lost 7 of their last 8 game ones. Bizarre, right?
Yeah. You imagine the shockwaves that would send, though, with what he said about Pickens.
Oh, wow.
You take back the
Yes.
franchise tag, you
He made
trade
good
him,
points.
and then you take a wide receiver 12th overall.
Yeah.
No, I get it. With that much money, you want to tie up that much money with those three players?
Tate 30-1. Okay, throwing
Wow.
it out there.
We'll continue with the NHL. A better would have crushed you by betting no's or unders in the first game of each series. Find out the incredible numbers next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
So first weekend NHL, 7 games overall. The no was always a nice plus price for a goal in the first 10. Right? We had 1. That was it.
That's the story. And every first period went under.
Every single one of them.
7-0.
So if you were doing round robins, parlays, betting them straight, you absolutely crushed it.
I already see people are going to parlay it tonight with the 4 games. I'd be careful in the Edmonton game. I think there's fireworks in that game. But who's scoring in this Carolina series?
It feels like they're going to be at a premium.
Both goals were soft.
Oh, I would totally agree.
All market, you got to have that.
And
both of them were a wrist shot, then you can't find it behind you. Terrible. Ottawa played a good game. They deserved a better fate, but those were 2 soft goals. And then again, though, it's like, how many goals are they going to score in this series?
Right. And the total 6 tonight?
Yeah, I like what Jonathan Davis did. Now, there's 6.5s out there, alts minus 150. You can go no goal in the first 5 minutes with under 6.5 at a small plus price. That's what he did. But again,
no goal first 5 minutes and under 6.5 for the game as a parlay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think you got it at FanDuel.
Okay.
Ottawa was the best team defensively 5-on-5 since the break. They closed strong. As Jeff Davis said from Circa, third best team in the East. But I just don't think they're going to be able to score here. And I don't, under 6.5, under 6, you can go under 5.5 plus money. I think it's all good.
Okay, so then I think this Flyers-Penguins matchup is absolutely fascinating.
Right.
Because I asked the question, and we talked about this a lot last week, like how is this going to play in this series specifically, now that the playoffs are here, but also more importantly, based on how Pittsburgh had finished the season, when in their final 20 games, 17 of those went over. There was 1 push, and 2 of those games went under. That's it. And for 1 game anyway, it completely flipped. And again, goals were kind of at a premium in that game.
They did a great job.
They did a phenomenal job.
Right.
So does that style play throughout? Are we going to get like a carbon copy of that where it's not going to, because...
Well, again, this is a great story, but how good is this team? That's the other thing. I know they were favored, but you have a hotter team in the Flyers, and no one expected this out of Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
That they were supposed to be one of the worst teams in the league. The thing about Philly is this great run where they came from way back to get in here. They're on a 14-4-1 run. First goal's huge. They're 11-1 in their last 12 when they score first. They scored first in game 1. But they allowed the first goal the most games in the league, most times in the league. So, again, you look at game 1, 6.5 again was too high. You think how game 1 played out. But then again, the season's on the line for Pittsburgh, much like Dallas, and it's $1.55.
Well, and I see, by the way, to the under right now, and this is all over the map, right? Some books have 5.5 with different juice. Circa's at 6. DraftKings, for example, is at 6.5. The under is minus 30 cents. I think that might have to be a bet.
Yeah.
They have to get to 7 to beat me here.
Yeah.
And maybe we get a high-flying game with Pittsburgh tonight, and it kind of goes back to what it was like down the stretch. But
I don't know. What do you think? Because maybe game 1, I'm feeling my opponent out. I don't know. Every game goes under first period.
Yeah, but we shouldn't be surprised by this. I mean, it's playoff hockey, and it does change a lot.
Yeah.
And we just had so many high-scoring games. Forget Pittsburgh for a second. Like, the entire league felt like we were going over for a month. And maybe you're right.
Yeah.
Maybe that is going to come in the Anaheim and Edmonton game tonight.
So Pittsburgh scored the 3rd most goals. And also, if you want to look at special teams, though, the Flyers had the worst power play. And Pittsburgh was top 10 on the kill. At number 6. and they were top 10 on the power play. But you see, they call a ton of penalties, man.
I know. That's what you got to be afraid of for sure.
It is surprising, especially on nights like this, where you got 4 games and sometimes there's 3 at the same time, and you look up and a lot of times the team's on a power play.
I'll give you
tune in. So special teams could decide it. That could be the same. Carolina's got a great special teams as well. But that's where I'm at with the Edmonton series. Now, Greg Wyshynski, you want to say more, or should I go to it?
I was going to say I wanted to share a couple of bets quickly that Jonathan Davis has on the website. I'm not going to give them all away. I would encourage everybody to go there and read it, vsin.com. But Jonathan Davis is betting Sidney Crosby anytime, plus 165 for a quarter unit, and also Malkin at plus 270 for a quarter unit as well. And he's got a bunch of other bets on that game specifically.
Now, this series price in the late game, this is only series that hasn't started yet.
Yep.
It opened $2, bet up to $2.40. I thought that was light. Anaheim had lost 8 of 9 till they beat Nashville on the final day in a game they had to have, and they beat them by a goal, and Nashville didn't care. And Anaheim has got the 27th ranked penalty kill, and Edmonton's number 1 on the power play. And Ingram closed strong in goal for Edmonton. Greg Wyshynski, who was just on the show last week, ESPN, picked Edmonton in a sweep. This is a terrible matchup for the Ducks. So they come limping in, horrible form, can't stop anybody, leaky, giving up goals for fun, and you got to take on this powerhouse Edmonton, and just, they always put it together this time of year. And they're sick runs that they've made, trying to get back to the Cup for the 3rd straight year.
Yeah, so this is kind of the exact opposite of what I was talking about, these other series maybe being lower scoring.
I can't go first period under here. No way.
Would you look at the Edmonton Oilers team total over in this game?
Yeah.
Again, based on how
3.5, right?
Anaheim has just been hemorrhaging goals here now for a long time.
Yep. I know Jordan Scott sent that to me this morning, too, that he was looking at that.
At the team total?
Yes.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
I think so.
Especially if they're going to be calling penalties, and their kills atrocious.
And the Oilers are so good with that. In fact, I think I'd rather play that than over 6.5 in the game. Just because you have to rely probably on Anaheim getting a couple in there for you.
Yeah. Do you think Tampa's overrated? We've been told all year long from friends in Canada that Montreal's the real deal.
Well,
and that was a great win to get game 1. Cooper said we gave it to him.
I don't know.
What were they? Every goal but one was on the power play? That was a crazy game.
I thought it was a great game. And I don't know, me watching it, I thought Montreal was close with Tampa.
I thought the same thing.
I did not look like that was a fluke whatsoever.
Yeah. Came right back.
Sure.
Just couldn't hold the lead.
No, they got a bunch of dudes on that. But Tampa Bay, I get it. Their number, deservedly, I think their numbers were off the charts in terms of betting, playoffs, the series, and also to win the Eastern Conference. But maybe this is just going to be a team that is so good they're going to end up giving them a really good series as long as this is going to go. That did not, again, and Montreal put together a hell of a regular season. Watching that game over the weekend, I did not think there was anything weird about that outcome whatsoever. I would not say that the Canadians got lucky to win that game. And so you're thinking that the Stars are going to bounce back and win just based on their history, and you're being kind of a cynical fan from Minnesota?
Well, this is what they do. It's also the NHL. These guys hate to get embarrassed. They bring it in the next game. In the season's on the line. Mm-hmm. They've done this time and time and time again. They've lost 7 of their last 8 game ones. What was the other thing I had on them? They keep giving up the first goal, too. But they've made the conference finals 3 years in a row. And, season on the line, all of it. Not to mention what you said. Minnesota hasn't won a playoff series since 2015. And still, like RJ just said, they were even surprised with what they decided to do in goal as well.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you this, that teams that this is just overall in the hockey playoffs going back the last 14 years. Teams that lost the previous game are 52.5% coming back and winning the next game over the last 14 years, producing plus 25.63 units. If you're backing game 1 winners in game 2, you're down 126 units the last 14 years. In fact, if you go back and look just at, if you lost at home in game 1 since 2021, game 2 straight up 17-8, game 2 on the puck line 15-10. So you have Pittsburgh and Dallas in that same exact situation tonight, where the zigzag. I'm not betting on. Like, do I think these road teams are going to win outright tonight in the NBA? Maybe we get one upset. I'm not going to In fact, I think the home teams can absolutely cover those games again. Like, I'm not going to be surprised if we get a blowout by the Knicks and the Cavaliers, specifically in the East. But tonight, in the NHL, they are a lot tighter and have been closer now. That's, again, sample size goes back a long time.
16 of the last 19 playoff games, Dallas has allowed the first goal.
Wow.
Got to cut that out.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That's a really bad trend to be a part of.
Yes. Adjusted series prices. Minnesota now 180. Carolina minus 280. That seems cheap. I don't know how Ottawa scores.
Well,
Philly minus 160. Vegas 320. Tampa still favored. Buffalo 320.
well, don't you think that if you like Dallas tonight, taking some of that plus money on the series price would be worth it as well? I think these teams are close enough to where Dallas could easily go to Minnesota and win one of those two games, and then we're tied back at 2 apiece.
Playoffs are here. One of the best stretches of the sports betting calendar. If you're betting right now, having the right info makes all the difference. Get our spring special, full access through August 1st. One-time payment at just $59. That's through the NBA, NHL Finals, World Cup, the Derby, Wimbledon, and more. Real-time betting splits, AI-powered prop tools. $59. That's 50% off the regular monthly price. VSiN.com/subscribe. Real or Fugazi next.